Hey y'all, it was an interesting day. I read things that people were writing and certainly never could have predicted that they would write that. I'm always amazed by really great things, but rarely, at least in the past few decades of my life, completely shocked by reactions. The attack on someone that I did a liquid lift on was atrocious. And all of a sudden, I was like in the lunchroom eating my vegetarian meal. And for those of you that don't know what that means, being incredibly sensitive, never fit in and totally ate lunch in the bathroom because all someone had to do was make the sound of an animal that someone else was eating, and I couldn't handle it. And the truth is, you never know who can't handle it. And if it weren't for really sensitive people, where would we be? Um, what would the world be like? And for me, if I wasn't who I am, I couldn't do what I do, which for the people on Facebook today might not matter, but the misconception is that it's about how you look. All anyone wants to do is look like themselves. It's a familiarity, it's a comfort to look in the mirror and see yourself. And there are things in your life that can happen. There's aging, but there's these things for sensitive people that are life altering, and you don't know who you are. And you might as well be in the middle of a wilderness. And for me, as a child that just didn't fit in, I mean, had to go home in the middle of Charlotte's Web because if they killed the spider, I was going to hold my breath too. And I was so fortunate to have a family that understood me. A father that when my mom took out a fly swatter, he was the fly it would stop. When she hit a bird with her car, he took care of it. And there is such a for someone that's really sensitive, if you don't have that, you do something. I don't know what that something is because I had that. I had a mother that could crab and catch crabs, and she was fine. I had a grandmother that understood my every fiber of my heart, but she could do it too. But I had a granddaddy that was like, I won't let her cry. I'm throwing him back. So you always need that person. For me, it was always animals. And, but maybe I gave up on people. I have this silly picture of me like standing there with this board in the third grade and it said pin the tail on the pig. And I'm standing there and there is no part of me that can stick a pin in an imaginary pig. And those aren't things you learn. And if I had learned them, I wouldn't have learned them from my mother. I mean, she can just cook bacon like it didn't once help someone breathe. I mean, that's who she is. Like it doesn't matter, and that's great. I'm not that way. And to raise a child that isn't what you are must be very difficult. And then to have like all of that be what someone thinks about must be even harder. I mean, when I was growing up, you had to like have a quarter and put it in a payphone to get home from Charlotte's Web at DeVille Plaza. And, you know, not everyone understands that. Why a fourth grader is calling and saying, pick me up, they're going to kill the spider. I didn't call my mom. I did call my dad, who completely understood. But the point is that maybe it's not about understanding someone, it's just about being able to, or just really respecting who they are and what they stand for. And when you honor someone, you have to honor all of it about them. And my grandmother taught me that. She had an uncanny way of understanding everything. I mean, even when I was like, I'll say 7 or 8, and I had to shave my legs, my mom said I was too young, and my grandmother said, I'll teach you. I literally was going to skin my leg if I didn't learn, because the feeling of hair, I mean, it's just, I couldn't take it. It wasn't comfortable to me. And some of us are just going to perceive more and feel more, and God knows we wish we didn't. Because especially when you're young, you would give anything to be like everyone else and to pin the tail on the pig. But some of us just can't. And not only can we not pin the tail on the pig, we can't be friends with a person that could pin, like literally for someone like me, it was like you were taking a knife and like stabbing it through someone's tail. And there's nothing like a tail. I mean, there are other things, but they don't compare to a tail. You know, you see a tail wag and your heart just lights up. At least mine does. And I think that very sensitive people migrate towards animals, and all of that's okay. You don't fit in. But then there's always that something, like there's always that passion or that place where your just complete inner weirdness fits and serves a purpose. I mean, I can look at anything or anyone and I feel them first, which is hard. I mean, I don't know that being able to feel someone's energy it's not always good, but sometimes it is. And I can look at people and see exactly what needs to happen. It doesn't have to happen, and it's not about being something you're not or all the crazy things that people will say. It's not insignificant. It's not vain. It's familiar. You know, like when I'm driving back from Jackson, Mississippi, and I pass 29th Avenue, which is where my grandparents lived, that's familiar. And I would give anything to pull off on that exit and find them because, well, they're so much more than familiar. That woman, both of them, gave me not just love, but confidence before I had it in myself. Going through questions and thoughts and thinking like about them. One is, what would you give to your 19-year-old self? And it's such an easy answer because I would have given myself confidence. And I totally didn't have it. I had a great family. I had a great mom. I had a great dad. But I didn't fit in. And sometimes you don't. I preferred animals to people. I really think that if people had tails, I would have liked them better, but I wrote deeper than my English teachers wanted. But I really didn't care if they didn't like it. As a matter of fact, there was a comfort in not fitting in that I got very used to. I ate lunch in the bathrooms because if I was out in the lunchroom, somebody would make a sound of an animal they were eating, and I would retreat. My cat was my best friend. And I think that that's great. I'm so glad I have a cat. I don't think there's a thing in the world negative about that. I just think that recognizing the sensitivity of some people and like just being so thankful the whole world isn't like that. Like I couldn't do what I do if that wasn't who I was. It found its place. But when I read things like today of other women, I mean, men, come on. I mean, if you have a cross by your name, I completely expect you to be the opposite. But women who say nasty things to other women that are having something done, like what happened today, is just makes me want to go find my dead horse. I mean, and just ride away with her and the cows because I don't want people to be like that because it's so short sighted. Like you're not seeing the whole picture. Everyone wants to see what's familiar. Like I get chills when I see my mom's house. It's familiar. It's where I grew up. I would give years off my life to hold my grandmother's hand. But that's familiar. And it's love. Oh, it was so much love. But when you lose yourself through no fault of your own, you just age, and all of a sudden you look in the mirror and you're not who you remember. It's not vain. It's just discomfort. It's who am I if I don't see what I'm used to seeing? And maybe that person looks tired. Maybe they look angry. But it just doesn't look like you. And that's emotional. I mean, even just like catching a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and not recognizing it. I mean, that's emotional. My grandmother had one regret in her life, and it wasn't not telling my mom about my liposuction. It was because I didn't know that my mom would understand, but I knew my grandmother would. Her regret was not fixing her neck because when she looked at it, she didn't see herself. I don't think I could have ever fixed it, but she was a huge part of me doing what I love because I said, I'm going to have to lie to my mother, and I'm not a good liar. And I didn't want to lie to my mother, but I knew she wouldn't understand. And I said, Gran, this is my mother's mother. What am I going to do? Like, I can't. She was like, I got it. Because I don't want you to miss anything in life. Like, I want you to not think about this. And there's no reason not to. My sister called me Thunder Thighs, and she would come in my room every night and show me these exercises I could do where you held your leg on this and you did these silly things. And I watched a lot of Mama's Family, and Thelma definitely had thunder thighs. I would have never told her that, though, because I could care less because all I saw was the the way she made me laugh. But there are things that can make you insecure and make you feel uncomfortable in every situation in life, whether it's how you look or how you feel or something you wish you'd done or didn't do, or but all those things hold you back. And none of it's worth it. And none of it's anyone's business but yours. And it's certainly not about vanity. It's just about you. Like, what can you do to be the most confident version of yourself? What can you do to be who you are, to challenge yourself and to live the life that you want to live? Doesn't really matter what it is. Hopefully, you're not incredibly sensitive and need your precious grandfather to throw back all the crap everyone called all day. Like, maybe you can pin the tail on the donkey. Maybe you can pin the tail on the pig. Maybe you can eat bacon. That's great. But all of it is just who you are. It doesn't matter. And you just embrace it and you use it to somehow help other people. Because maybe people just look at me and think, what a crazy human. Like, really? She couldn't pin the tail on an imaginary pig? No, I really actually couldn't, and had to come home from Charlotte's Web because no matter what anyone told me, that spider was going to die and the pig was going to die, and why didn't the spider save the pig? And the world was not a place I wanted to be. So I left, and I had a quarter and called my dad and said, please come pick me up. And he did. And that same sensitivity has allowed me to look at my patients and not only look at them, but feel them. To truly see someone, you have to feel them. And the feeling is so much more powerful than anything else. I mean, to know that someone understands you, that someone sees you and feels you for who you are and how you feel right then is so powerful. I mean, when I come home and my dogs look at me like, I know how powerful it is. We all need that. And it's not just that we need it. It gives us a strength and a power to do more than and to give more to everyone else in our lives. And as women, that's what we want. Like, we want to be there. We want to get out of ourselves and be able to be there for people and dogs and fish and cats and birds. I mean, we're happiest when we feel that we're giving. For all the men out there, you can just tune out now. I know you totally don't understand, but it's just, if we didn't have that quality, would the world really go on, or would it just stop? But we have it, and when we don't look like ourselves, we don't feel like ourselves. And there is a lot of ugliness on my page today from people telling people they shouldn't have this, they shouldn't have that, and I was honestly completely shocked by it, but maybe that's where a lot of the world is. And to think that any of us look in a mirror and think, I want this to be different. We really don't. We think, I don't feel like myself. And I'm uncomfortable because I'm comfortable with myself, but I don't see myself. And it's so irrelevant what you do to feel that way. And I hate to call myself irrelevant, but it is. It's about figuring it out and getting back to yourself and then being able to let go of yourself and give. be a better parent, be a better dog mother. When you get into yourself and you go into yourself and you don't feel good, or you don't know who you are, or don't look like who you are, it comes out on everyone, even your dogs. So it's everyone's job to be the best they can be. And some of us can help. And some people just have to find fault, but that's true in anything. If only people were dogs, the world would be so great. But they're not. So we have to all accept who we are and stop thinking of comfort and familiarity as vanity, because sometimes you just want to see yourself because it makes you feel like yourself. Aging's hard. It's hard to hear, oh my gosh, are you tired? Or are you sad? Are you okay? My mom is starting to feel looked over. And it happens. I hear it every day. And the reasons that people do stop things about how they feel or how they look, or even to prevent how they could potentially look, is deep. It's not superficial. It's not, I don't want to look like that because I think it's ugly. It's, I don't want to see my mother's face on my face because I miss her so much I can't breathe when I see it. Women are deep. Men, I don't know. It's different. But for women, it's deep. And it should be honored. And it's one thing for a man to like get on my page and beat up a woman, but to see women do it is what I'm here to stop. That's why I speak out. I can't take that. As women, our only friends shouldn't be dogs. If they are, great, because there's no better friend, but we should be able to count on each other. And let men talk about us, but as women, I think we should be friends. So, you know you are. You probably don't even exist. You probably live down the street. You're probably completely fake. But either way, I will definitely always say what I think, but I wouldn't condemn a woman, at least. I might condemn a man, but not a woman or a dog about what they do, because I can feel what they feel. And if you can't do that, then why even, what are you doing? Like, try to feel it, because that's what makes up your experience on earth. Not what you can do for people, but how you can experience them and truly be a part. And if you're not a part, you're always going to be left out. And I'm fine with being left out. I ate lunch in the bathroom. But I still don't regret it. I don't regret being obsessed with my horse because it was just me and my horse. I don't regret any of it. But I wish that then I had known that at some point I would be comfortable enough with who I was that when I was on the drill team and everyone could keep kicking after the pest control people had came and all the little bugs were like choking for their lives, when I walked out of practice and picked up every earthworm and soaked them and tried to save them, I felt weird. and out of place. And I wish that I had known that someday that gift of being able to feel for everyone would be something that would be valuable to people. Because as a child, it wasn't. It was horrible. And there weren't many people that understood me. I mean, I didn't. But the best memories of my life are my grandfather picking up a big bucket of crabs and throwing them back because he wasn't going to let anyone eat something that I loved. Or my dad, like, taking my mom's fly swatter. We don't swat flies. We take them outside. Whatever those things are that make you weird or make you quirky or that people make fun of or that convince you that the bathroom is a way better place to eat lunch in high school, like, those are the things that you have to give. And I don't think that anyone listening to this is going to refuse to pin the tail on the pig. But I do think that people that whose lives that I can be a part of, or that kind of sensitivity it's my gift. It may not always feel like it. It rarely does, but it's what I have. And it's a gift in many, many, many ways. I see everything. I see every shadow. I can feel everything. And there are places in this world where that's really important. And in what I do, I think seeing someone, feeling someone, I don't think there's anything that could create a better outcome.
What the hell are you doing?
Oh my God.
It's so important.
Okay.
We're losing everything upstairs.
All right. This is my child. So
Mom, we have
clearly
a huge
it's not genetic. Good night.
No, Mom, I have a